What is poppin', y'all? This chest day is brought to you by a tropical vibe. Man, I hope everyone has been doing well. Quick recap for the leg day yesterday. I was making a few calls on my drive back, so I wish I got, kind of a recap driving talk going, but that just wasn't the case for yesterday. But that had to have been one of the best leg days that I've ever had. And I don't say that lightly. It was just the amount of volume there was, how carved up I was, the amount of rest I had, and then on top of all that, I mean, it just hit every single part of my leg. I mean, I remember there was this one, it was like my fifth or sixth set that I was doing on squats, and literally my entire adductor, quad, hamstring, and glute cramped up all at the same time, mainly on my right, a little bit on my left, but I have never had that happen before, so that was a freaking blast to kind of see that in action. But we finished everything out. I could barely do the lunges that we were doing yesterday. I remember I was just starting on the first one, and I literally had like 20s in my hands for dumbbells, and my entire right leg seized up. Like, I was already fried going into those last 4 sets of lunges, but that's honestly what we're going for. We are going for extreme obliteration, and it was definitely showing with what we were doing, or just living my life in the past few days, because in the last 12 hours or so, because that was just a freaking hefty leg day. I even texted my coach and I was like, dude, this leg day is freaking atrocious. And so, that being said, yesterday was a freaking trip just to walk around. Even to do the meditation after the leg day, my legs were so tired and so fried that it was tough for me to even just focus on the meditation. It was just so distracting, because I usually do those meditations right after I train, but man, my entire system was taxed, nervous system was taxed, every muscle group was just freaking cramping at the end of the day. Like, I think the worst cramps that I've ever had, I was competing and I carved up a little too much, and honestly that was just me. Like, that was not my coach at all. I was just extremely tired, and I was just carving up a little too much and being intuitive, which at the end of the day did not work. So that was not intuition, that was just straight up cravings in action. But that being said, that was a lot of fun. But that was probably like the most the most cramps that I've ever had, like, in anything. So that being said, it was a freaking trip. But for chest today, to kind of round out that entire story, we are probably going to be doing an even distribution of presses and flies. So, I mean, every chest day I just annihilate my chest, and that's the same for today. I mean, it was a lot of fun to see that kind of chest growth from last week, but I kind of messed up on a day because I didn't have all my meals, and I had like 2 burritos, a quesadilla, so I had a lot of food, but I didn't have a lot of clean food. I didn't have all my meals that I needed for the day. And so that's where I really messed up, because I literally dropped like 3-4 pounds the next day, even though I had all that food. So that being said, that just goes to show you how important it is to follow your meals, listen to your coach, and at the minimum, just have your meals in for the day. It doesn't matter if, you kind of miss a meal timing too much, but if you just miss an entire meal for a day, it'll make the difference. And I dropped weight pretty reluctantly, because that was not just your average, oh man, I didn't get enough water in, or even though I didn't get enough water in, or, ah man, I guess I'm looking a lot leaner today. Like, I was looking a little more like skinny fat than anything, because I was just flat, but then I was also, it was like there was just fat. There was more fat, less muscle. That's pretty much what the skinny fat ratio is and was on that day. So it is what it is. I learned my lesson, but that being said, as quickly as you can lose it, that's as quick as you can gain it. So I've been completely on this entire week. I mean, that happened, I think, Saturday. I just went completely off plan. I had like my first 2 meals, and then other than that, it was just burrito and quesadilla city. But other than that, I mean, that's when we kind of made do. Oh man, this is not working out too much. There we go. That being said, though, been completely on with all of our meals since then, and it's been a blast, because it's something about following your meals that just makes you feel good. Like, at the end of the day, you're really there to make sure that you're getting all your meals in so you accomplish your goals and whatever. But I think the biggest adherence to your meals in general on your plan comes from a feeling, at least for me. I mean, it can come from, oh man, that guy was not supposed to do that. It can come from, wanting to accomplish something big, like win your bodybuilding show, get to a certain physique for a certain event, whatever it is. Those are great extrinsic motivators, but I think a good intrinsic motivator is the fact that you just feel good on an everyday basis. Because for me, I can notice when I have a really big refeed meal that it's just dirty. It is like, fast food or some type of refeed that's just outside of the scope of what I usually eat. My system can notice it pretty much right away, and that's kind of a good thing. It's like that is like a built-in radar for your gut, because your gut just, I mean, it's conditioned no matter what. So if you can kind of pick out, okay, if I stay on my meals, these specific meals, then I won't feel this way. I mean, you're on your way to feeling good every day as long as you execute. So that being said, I would say the intrinsic motivation of just feeling good is a lot stronger than the extrinsic motivation of trying to get to whatever kind of goal you're after. And that's not the same for everyone. Like, obviously everybody operates a little differently, but for me at least, it's always been the feeling that has been the biggest motivator for me. But that being said, we got a big old chest day today, and not much else to add to that. I really enjoy these chest days because they're a good break from those really intense back days or leg days or whatever kind of days. Man, there's a lot of traffic here right now. But yeah, so this is gonna be a good day. I can already tell, because I am fully carved up. We had 3 meals in the last 2 hours, so yeah, we have a lot of nutrients to work with going into this chesting. And chest is honestly one of the things that I need to build up the most. But before I go and before we get started with this, I do want to touch on the intrinsic motivation factor as far as the meditations as well. Because, I mean, it's kind of hard to have an extrinsic motivation when it comes to meditation. I mean, I guess every situation is different, so I shouldn't, label it as hard for everything. But for me, honestly, it comes from an intrinsic motivation as well. I mean, anytime that I'm regularly doing my TM practice or doing Transcendental Meditation, I'm a lot more concentrated, for one. I'm a lot calmer. And on top of all that, everything just seems to flow a little bit better. Literally everything. It could be, a really tough creative endeavor that I'm going down. It could be the workouts I'm doing. It could be the business I'm running. Whatever it is, everything just seems to flow a little bit better. And so, knowing that, I mean, that in and of itself could be an extrinsic motivation. But I would say what's stronger for me is the fact that I just feel good on an everyday basis. It's like I can concentrate a lot better and I'm a lot calmer at the end of the day. So that just kind of, it goes to show, at least for me, intrinsic motivation or just feeling good, that is probably the stronger motivation of the two. Now, that being said, there are a lot of extrinsic motivations that come into play as well. Like, I want to be, really, obviously, a really good partner to my partner. I also want to be a really good father to my kitten son. And I also just want to be the best coach that I can be for all the clients I'm working with. And also the best athlete I can be for my own personal journey. And so all of those are amazing. They're really good sources of motivation. But man, nothing really beats that feeling good motivation. I mean, it's hard to explain because it's almost like you're like, once you get a tattoo, you're living with that tattoo. It doesn't really affect anybody else. Like, if you get a tattoo, you might get, like, if your family doesn't approve of it, it's like, oh man, you're scorned from your family or whatever it is, But that being said, if that tattoo makes you feel good, makes you feel more connected in a way, then man, I mean, that's some pretty good intrinsic motivation. So I mean, that being said, you're the one living with you. And so in any way that you can make yourself feel good on a long-term basis, man, cheers to you, my friend. That is a great motivation in and of itself. But that being said, the thing that will make me feel good long-term at the moment is meditation. So that has been a great intrinsic motivation. But anyways, we got this big old chest day coming up. So plan is just to go freaking crazy. So let's get in there. All right, so worked our way up. We just started 50s, 70s. We're just doing incline bench. So feeling good today though. Lots of carbs flowing. So we're probably going to test out the 100s just to see how many we can get. Obviously the goal is 11 reps, but let's just see how many. We might even get more. So let's just get cooking. All right. 9 to solid. Alright, so transition from just a regular flat barbell bench to this. I mean, I feel like this machine's supposed to be flat, but it's at a slight incline, like no more than 5 to 10 degrees, so it's all good. I was actually looking for kind of like a converging chest press like this, because this is where I feel like I can get a lot of squeeze out of it, because you know, with a bench you kind of actively have to think about, okay, like push my elbows together to get the most out of the squeeze in my chest. And although it could work, and it has worked in the past, you know, nothing really compares to a converging chest press that just kind of does the magic for you, and then, you know, just gets the most out of the squeeze in the movement. So 6th set, and man, freaking fry already, so let's go freaking nuts. Oh. Bye. Nine. Come on. I have no idea what we have next, but gotta check the program again. Alright, so it is some hours later after this decent chest day, honestly. I don't think it was, definitely wasn't as intense as the leg day yesterday, but it still had its moments of extreme intensity, probably on the incline dumbbell bench and the flat converging chest press, just because those were freaking gnarly. To say the least. They were I don't know, they were just, I guess, the most nervous system taxing movements. But that being said, it was a lot of freaking fun to see what we could press on incline dumbbell bench. We got 9 reps, which I believe is a PR, so pat on my back there. But anyways, that was pretty much freaking it when it came to the chest workout today. I feel like everything is coming along quite nicely as far as the progress with, I'm not even on the HCG anymore just because we ran out what seemed like a little too quickly. I think I just didn't put enough backwater into the HCG vial, when I first started using it. So it is what it is. Lesson learned. But that being said, we've been consistently on the IGF for some time now. So that is definitely coming to show, especially with just even though we're on a minicut, it's like the roundness and the fullness of the muscle mixed with the vascularity. It's just, whoa, that's freaking cool. It's like a tricycle motorcycle. That's pretty freaking cool. And it's all lit up too. Ooh, solid. Anyways, so we got, pretty much all of that cooking. I'm not trying to, gas myself up, but I am saying that those are usually, it's a little more pronounced when I'm on this. So that being said, I am pretty happy with the results. But that also being said, the Transcendental Meditation that I did today, I didn't do it in the car, so didn't get it all recorded and everything, but I did do it in the blood donation center that I usually go to, and it was pretty cool because that is where I basically have a lot of time to myself when I'm doing the actual donation. I'm sitting in that bed for probably like 30-35 minutes, and so just kind of having, I guess, all of that time to myself, sneak in a little 20-minute transcendental meditation, never hurt anybody. But it was kind of cool. I don't always have, like a message or an insight from a meditation, but when I do, I make sure to always write it down because, it's just something worth remembering, I guess. But anyways, today's insight, or whatever you want to call it, just, I guess, a realization, so to speak, was that the quality of the meditation is heavily dependent on the quality of the concentration on the meditation object. So the meditation object, that could be anything. That could be your breath, that could be the mantra, that could be your body. Just depends on whatever kind of meditation you're doing. But in this case, with a transcendental meditation, we're just focusing on a mantra. And so, that being said, the more, I kind of fell into this trap. So instead of focusing on the mantra itself, I was focusing on ways to name whatever I was thinking so that I could concentrate on the mantra a little bit more. And although it seems right in the moment, you're not gonna get the most bang for your buck as far as the concentration goes in the meditation, because the whole point of it is you're trying to create this form of concentration that you're gonna have towards everything. So, whether that's you need to be a little more concentrated at work, you need to be a little more concentrated during your workouts, it doesn't really matter. You're basically forming your concentration based on however you want to show up in the world. And so I kind of fell into the trap of concentrating on different aspects of my thoughts so that I could concentrate on the mantra a little more. Like, for example, I was thinking about, clients in my business. Like, I was like, oh man, I'm planning. And then I'd think about the fact that I'm planning, and I'm like, all right, cool, got that taken care of. When that whole time that I was naming the planning, I wasn't concentrating on the mantra. Or like another thing, like I was I was thinking about like the workout I had earlier today. So I was like, past memory, and I was trying to like label it somehow, when in reality I wasn't even concentrating on the mantra. So long story short, although it might seem powerful, or it might seem like the right thing to do, to concentrate on, naming the whatever, to concentrate more on your meditation object, that will most likely just end up in you being distracted a lot of the time. So no matter what kind of concentration you're doing a loving kindness, or no matter what kind of meditation you're doing a loving kindness meditation, you're doing a body scan meditation, you're doing, I don't know, like literally any kind of meditation. There are tons out there. Concentrate on whatever the meditation object is in that meditation, and you'll probably get a lot better results, even though it's not really about the results. The whole point of the meditation is to, be like, to connect with the meditation object, at least in my opinion. So whatever that is, that's what you're trying to connect with. So I don't know. That was kind of my take on it, and it's a lesson to me whenever I'm doing the transcendental meditations in the future. Just concentrate on the mantra. It's so simple, but we're constantly changing as humans, and so it's simple in its action, but since we're getting more and more complex as we evolve and everything like that, and everything's just always changing, you got to adapt. That's the moral of the story, and that's how you're probably going to make the most progress in the long run. But anyways, that is about it for pretty much everything. Transcendental meditation, chest workout, but we got a big old shoulder workout tomorrow, and I'm freaking looking forward to that. That is going to be a lot of fun. But anyways, thanks for joining, y'all. Always great to see you through this portal, I guess. That being said, have a great night, y'all.